going on, listeners out there? Welcome to Back to the Classics, the Listener's Choice episode, the first Listener's Choice episode where we cover the iconic classic films chosen by you, the listener. I am your guy, Jay Alonzo. With me is my boy,
K. Williams. What up, Jay?
K, first Listener's Choice, man. Are you ready?
Man, I'm ready for like 2-minute drill. Man, look. I don't know, man. This is gonna be one of those excellent shows that everybody's gonna chime in on. They're gonna be like, "Yo, my favorite part was this. I liked him when he did that. He was the man when he had this." I mean, it's come on, man. It's one of the classics, bruh. If you don't know what this movie is after 2-minute drill,
something wrong with you.
Might as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you might as well go to a doctor, man.
And of course, today it is a family affair. And when I mean family, I got my blood family up here. One half of the Noize duo, the beat boss himself. Y'all make some noise for Big Los in the building.
That is a fantastic way to put it, and I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Beat boss, hashtag beat boss.
I had to come back because the last time I was on your show, I believe it was your most listened to show. When I was here for Beverly Hills Ninja, a trash movie, but I still got y'all a shit ton of listens.
I like that movie. Don't talk bad about Chris Farley.
I have nothing bad to say about Chris Farley. He's one of the GOATs, honestly, but that movie was trash. But I know my appearance on that show got y'all those views, so I figured I'd come back, bless the mic, you know what I'm saying?
Listen,
look at this
the show that got us our views to this day. And shout out to our girl Michelle Ruiz, who guest starred on the Selena episode. She went hard in the paint. Salinas, and she went hard in the paint for sure.
Actually, when you check the numbers, it's still the episode I featured on. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out.
Whatever. Moving on.
I'm not trying to be cocky or anything like that, but numbers don't lie, and my numbers were legit, sir.
And shout out to Hollywood Kev, who's supposed to be with us. I'm starting to feel like he's not supposed to be on the show.
No, he just doesn't like y'all. He told me on the way.
I mean, it seems like every time we get him on this damn show, like the world crumbles around him. He just cannot seem to get here. But we are blessed to have other actual family in the building. I thought it was very important to have her come, jump in and say a few words. 'Cause I want to take this time to shout her out. It is my little cousin, Sierra Sears. I'm sorry, take it back. You just graduated from
Cleveland State, class of 2017.
Majoring in?
Criminology.
Okay.
Woo, woo.
So she's right.
As I Millie Rock.
As she Millie Rock, all up and down your block. It's going down. So I had to get my cousin on here really quick to say a few words, only because I want to take this time out for people to really understand and appreciate what it takes to get to that ending point when it comes to school. And a lot of people have not even gotten this far. So from your big cousin to you, I got to shout you out one time.
Yeah, you got to say cousins.
Oh, you're right. My baby cousin's in the building, too.
He completely missed that.
I'm talking about your brother there.
But I'm
talking about as far as shouting her out. Congratulations, big head.
Okay. Thank you.
Because obviously this nigga missed it.
Big cuz got the little cuz on the
The listener's like, this nigga dumb. You said from me to you. I'm like, us.
And you said big cuz. You forgot about him.
To you. You feel better?
I feel much better.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
My baby cousin's in the building as well. Sade, say something.
As she slowly creeps towards the mic.
Comes towards the mic.
What's good in the neighborhood?
And what do you do?
I'm a biochem major at Kent State University.
Shout out to Kent State, everybody up over there.
Shout out to K-State.
It's Memorial Day weekend here in Las Vegas, so while they're in town, we're going to turn out the best way we possibly can and try not to remember nothing the following week. But without further ado, let's kick off this thing we call the Listener's Choice episode, the first of many. So for those of you who are on our Back to the Classics Movie Talk group, we put up a poll in prep for this show, and the poll was name your favorite gangster movie. Now, the choices on that poll was what? We had New Jack City, we had Scarface, we had Shottas. Who the fuck picked Shottas?
I don't know, but it was getting votes.
It was getting votes. Even though I didn't put it up there. But we had King of New York. We had Goodfellas.
Hey man, I'm surprised ain't nobody want to see Frank White, man.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
That was a good movie.
What happened to Set It Off?
Set It Off is not necessarily a gangster movie.
Yeah, it's more of like a crime movie.
Yeah.
And we covered it.
And we covered it.
And it's been covered.
Okay.
Yeah, then there's that.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? I ain't gonna lie. I have to openly admit this now. I'm the one that put Belly 2.
Billionaires Boys Club.
Really?
Billionaires Boys Club.
That was you?
I didn't like it. I hated that movie, but I just want to see how many votes did Belly 2 would get.
It wouldn't count. It wouldn't count. But
What if Belly 2 won? You know what we'd be doing here right now? Belly 2.
being upset,
Being very upset at that.
we would have did the an alternate route for sure. But this episode is 100% brought on by you, the listeners. We tallied up all the votes, so we now know what movie we're covering today. It also means jump back on the Facebook group site. I just posted a recent poll for the next Listener Choice episode coming up down the way. But without further,
Which one is that? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut
this is
you
going to
off.
be for what's your best Wesley Snipes movie?
Oh, Wesley Snipes movie, yeah. For some reason,
Hey, man,
New Jack
that-
City took some
that
time
is-
to get to number 1, so I'm gonna need y'all to get that together. But continue.
I think.
Hey, man, that Wesley
It
Snipes
took some
group
time,
is,
though.
like
is stacked,
4,
man.
like I think it's up by like 4. However, funny thing about it, Tu Wong Fu is like number 3, and I was like, I mean, it's not a bad movie.
Well, you gotta think about it. It's 2017, so Tu Wong Fu is like life right
Tu
now.
Wong Fu is more
apparently.
accepted today than
True.
it was back in those days. But anyway, let's kick off 2 minute
True.
drill. Kay, you ready for 2 minute drill, man?
Oh,
Man,
I
this is probably the
forgot.
only
I'm
thing
the
I am ready
defending
for.
champion right now. I'm coming in 1-0. I'm on my Mayweather right now. So,
Yeah.
so I got the belt.
Yeah, but you see that was months ago.
Okay.
so this is a whole.
All right, it's cool. Right now, my streak is crazy.
All right, so let's get down with the 2 minute drill. I watched this movie thoroughly and deeply to really get these questions that I figured that nobody's gonna get. But I know Big Los' favorite movie is this movie, so
All time.
yeah. So
Favorite movie.
all right, so I'll tell you what. Since you are the guest of today's show, how about you kick off 2 minute drill? And who's the first question going to?
I'm gonna go to you.
All right,
It's gonna be clockwork. I'm gonna go to you. You can go to Kay. Kay can go to me. And we just keep
All
it going
right.
from there. I would ask Cece. I call her Big Head, so it's gonna be weird calling her Cece.
but
I mean, Big
she's
Head's
never
fine,
seen the
but
movie.
I've never seen the movie.
I know, that's why I was like, I'm gonna kick it to you, and then you're gonna be like,
So I'm just gonna sit here and be.
and then her
cute.
answer's gonna upset me.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Cute. All right, so let's do it. 2 minute drill starts now.
I'll give you something easy starting off. What does the pitchfork tattoo mean?
He is an assassin.
Okay, good job.
All right.
That's the only easy one you get.
Oh, whatever. Kay, finish this quote. Where did you get this scar, tough guy?
Where did you get this scar, tough guy? Oh, I know the quote and I can't even think of it off the top of my head.
We'll take the edited or the actual answer. One of the two. The BT cut version or the actual movie version.
Not the BET cut. Is it from your fucking mother?
No. It's actually eating pussy. And if you're watching the clean version, it's eating pineapple. I would accept it either way. Go ahead.
That's crazy. I've never seen the clean version. All right, Los. What make of vehicle did Tony look at
Go
in
ahead.
the showroom?
So what car? Damn, you jackass. That's the one thing I didn't even think about.
Ooh,
Ooh,
I think I know that one too.
was it? Shit. You got me on that one, man. What car was it?
It was a Porsche.
I was just about to say Porsche too. I was like, it was on the tip of my tongue. I was like, no, was it a Jag? Ah, fuck you,
Yep,
okay?
it
So
was
right now
the
score is
Porsche.
0-0 to 1.
Yes, sir. So cool. So now you want to be that guy? In the Babylon Club, Frank says he calls his competitor Kazir. What is Kazir a Yiddish word for?
It's actually Haja. It's not a K.
No, it's a K.
I believe it's gay.
Wrong. It's pig.
Fuck! Okay. Alright. What's the name of the restaurant Tony and Manny work at?
Ooh, damn, I can't think of the name of it. Oh, fuck you. I don't like this game anymore. What's the name of it?
The answer is Little Havana Restaurante.
All right, go ahead, guy.
All right, what happened that finally got Elvira to go with Tony as his girlfriend?
He wanted to have kids because they both wanted kids, and Frank ended up getting murked.
There you go.
You feel me?
Alright, so right now the score is 1-1. We're gonna do one more.
Oh, so yeah, it's on me. I'm gonna hit you with the hard one just because we tied. What are the 4 places this movie takes place in?
The 4 locations?
Yes, sir.
You have Cuba, you have Miami, you have New York, and you have LA. What am I missing?
Bolivia.
Fuck!
They actually never went to LA. He was in Bolivia twice in the movie.
Oh, god damn it. All right, last one. Okay.
Last one?
Well, this is going right to Lowe's because he's talking shit right now.
Okay, let's go.
Good.
Let's go. Let's go.
Who plays Frank?
Robert Loggia.
Ah, you bastard.
Robert Loggia.
I think we have
This
a
is
winner
my favorite
once again.
movie, and with that, Jay just gave me the W. I stand 2-0 of 2-minute
Undefeated.
drill, undefeated. Mayweather the game.
Big Lowe's.
Quick
As a
no.
winner.
quick bonus question. What's lesson number 1?
Oh, lesson number 1. Hold on. I know that one. God dang it. Don't underestimate the other guy's
greed. Yes, that's
And of course, lesson number 2, don't get high on your own supply.
God damn it, if you don't know what movie we are talking about, something wrong with you. I feel like this movie has carried on for decades on decades. And now we're at the point where they're getting ready to kick off a remake of this one. We're talking about Scarface, the cult classic that became the cult classic.
Hey, man, this is like the beginning of everything. Like, hip-hop wouldn't be hip-hop if it wasn't for Scarface.
Oh, no.
Gangster movies wouldn't be gangster movies if it wasn't for Scarface.
I'll take it past that. I feel like it's because of hip-hop. Scarface is now known for that cultural impact because of hip-hop. I remember when they re-released the movie and Def Jam put out a compilation soundtrack to go with the anniversary of the home video release, and I listened to it just for the show. And when you look at the track list and how the songs kind of go together, it's almost like they made the Cube, NWA, Scarface himself, even White Lines, like that song is on that song is on the CD, and I swear to God, it's almost like the movie itself is being played to you via these songs, like Money, Power, Respect from the Lox is on there. It's so much good shit. 23 songs in there that totally fits the theme of this movie. So I feel like it's because of hip hop. Scarface is where it's at. So Los, you're the Scarface fandom here.
Yes, sir.
Much like Michelle with Salinas.
Nowhere near as deep. I can't even lie.
Okay.
Now, I do love this movie enough that I went back and I watched the boring ass 1932. I believe it's 1932.
1933, actually.
So I went back and I watched the original one where he was a bootlegger instead of a drug dealer. And it's funny how close the two movies are.
Yeah.
Take what happened in that time and, where the cats was bootlegging alcohol and then transition that to drugs coming out of Miami. Mm-hmm. The way that they wrote that on was brilliant because it was damn near the same movie, just a different movie.
You know what? Most people when they see Scarface, when they hear about Scarface, they always think that the Al Pacino version was the original version.
Right.
A lot of people don't even realize that Scarface is in fact a remake
of
a movie that came out eons ago. So now here we are in 2017, and we're now prepping for this Scarface remake with David Ayer directing, Diego Luna.
It was 32. It was 1932. I know
So I'm wrong. All right, so it's going to be Diego Luna taking over the Scarface role. Kind of iffy about it because he's like maybe a $105 wet. So it's like
technically, so was Al Pacino.
Technically, so was Al Pacino. Al Pacino was like 5'2", but I believed he wrecked shit.
Yeah,
he was the guy,
and he was like 5'1", 5'2",
and
$115.
But he's the dude that he plays no games. Diego Luna looks frail. Like he looks frail. Like, bro, like, come on, dog.
I've never seen the original, the 1932 version.
If you do,
I've always heard about it, but I've never been able to find it. Like, never even been able to watch it.
If you do watch it, you have to completely remove any and all HD, high tech, cinematic experience, and you got to enjoy the story.
100% for the story.
Because it's very cheesy at parts because of how bad the effects are. So you got to really go in and enjoy the story.
So, Graduate, you have not seen Scarface.
No,
but I'm quite sure you are familiar with it.
I am.
would you watch it after this episode?
Y'all should see the cool face she has right now.
She's keeping it way too chill right now. Like she do this shit every day.
I got a question for the graduate.
Go ahead.
Never watched Scarface.
Never seen it. It's been a lot of movies I haven't seen.
Do you feel it's a movie you should watch, especially with your major being criminology?
Good question.
I mean, that's what documentaries are for. I learned a lot from those. But I mean, for entertainment wise, I might watch it, but
I'd expect an answer like that from somebody who's a Lil Yachty fan. But
wow,
yeah,
Lil Yachty has nothing to do.
He has everything to do with this because he's inspiring to make bad decisions. Like
by watching documentaries, that's a bad decision.
I love documentaries. I love it. But Yachty is the person that the Dare line told us to stay away from, and you went straight to him.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with Lil Yachty. I'm all for a little
plenty.
boat.
You gotta listen to some of my episodes.
I'm all for a little boat.
All right, so Scarface, original release date December 9th, 1983, shares opening weekend with Christine, Sudden Impact, Terms of Endearment, and Yentl with Barbara Streisand. Now, with the exception of Yentl and Terms of Endearment, this is a pretty cracking-ass weekend.
Yeah, because Sudden Impact was dope.
Sudden Impact was dope. That's the old Eastwood junk, yeah. And then, of course, Christine, that's a classic in itself. So I can only imagine going to a movie theater that weekend. But then again, you kind of understand, like, with a lineup like that on a Friday, right? So you go to the movies, and then you got Christine, you got Sudden Impact, and then for the romancenato, that's not even a word, but
it's really not.
I'm gonna use it anyway. You got Christine, Sudden Impact, Terms of Endearment, and then you got Yentl. For those Barbara Streisand fans out there, that must have been a poppin' movie weekend. Had to be. But then again, nobody went and saw.
I'm kind of intrigued. I'm kind of intrigued to see what Yentl is about.
I'm not, but
not even kind of.
But with all that stuff coming out that weekend, you can kind of imagine why Scarface didn't make the money it was supposed to make, in the box office. And it's a movie that it's a movie that became iconic throughout time, and like really once it hit the home video release, that's when the iconic status really took off. And like we said, once hip hop got a hold of it, it became something. It became more adored and accepted and loved over time once hip hop jumped on it. So I say that to say this: even though we have a new Scarface coming up, wouldn't Scarface would have benefited better if we kept Al Pacino in the role, but say it dropped like 95?
Well, financially maybe. But it wouldn't have been considered a cult classic. Because think about what all came out in between Scarface and 95.
Even with Al Pacino, he came out.
Yeah, with Al Pacino alone, he had a bunch of movies in between
Dog
that
Day
time.
Came out. He had a list of shit.
Because
anyway.
if it wasn't Scarface, then it would have been even though all these movies are classics, but if it wasn't Scarface, it would have been Goodfellas. It would have been Godfather. It would it would have been all that.
Right. Let's see.
Because up to 95, I mean, Pacino had some bangers out, like of course Godfather, and then he did he did all three of the Godfathers.
Yeah, Serpico was out, Carlito's Way was out.
Ooh, I love
Carlito's Way. Sea of Love.
Yeah, Sea of Love was out. I believe he had just did the joint with Chris O'Donnell.
I know he did Dick Tracy in the 90s.
Dick Tracy came
Sin
out.
of a Woman.
Sin of a Woman. There you go. Sin of a Woman.
He was in Dick Tracy?
Yeah, I think.
And Heat.
I remember Heat. He was my joint. But he was a bad guy in Dick Tracy, really.
He is.
Wow.
Yeah. Box office total of $65.9 million on a budget of $25 million.
Considering the times, how is that really a flop?
Well, because
and then again, they said they was in New York and everything like that, but I know they shot in different areas. But for the areas that they shot in and that kind of budget, how would that be considered a flop?
You got to think about it. Because with every movie, even though, let's say the budget would say 25, right? Mm-hmm. Most studios are going to put up an additional $20, $25 million, even a $30 million budget on promo. You feel what I'm saying? So at that time, if Universal wasn't truly, plugging the movie, then yeah, I can see how most people would look at it like it's not really a flop. However, if what we don't know is it costs 25 to make the movie.
Right.
We don't know how much it costs for them to put up for a promo. And for promo, it could have been another 10 to 15. So if that's the case, then it is a flop.
Damn.
Because, yeah, it is a flop. So This movie currently holds a 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. Los, is that fair?
The Scarface fan in me says no. But for some of the scores they have on there, I would say that's pretty fair. I would at least give it an 85. I know that's only 2%, but
round it to 90, and I think we're good to go.
I would round it to 95 personally.
Because for a movie that's clocking in at about 2 hours and 55 minutes, it does flow extremely well.
Very.
I mean, to the point to where you're so enthralled and you're so into the story. Literally a rags to riches story about this immigrant from Cuba.
And I think that's why I love it so much, because it tells his lowest to his highest to his downfall.
Right.
And even though the movie's 4 days long, it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? It flows to the point where you're into everything that's going on, and then boom, out of nowhere it's over, and then you realize it's Tuesday. So then the only thing you can do is just move on with the rest of the week. You know what I mean?
So this movie has, which I find funny, this movie has 4 Golden Globe nominations and yet 1 Razzie nomination.
What was the Razzie nomination?
I'm going to say it's for Worst Picture.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's Worst Picture. I could be wrong, but, putting together the notes for today, I'm like, what awards has it has, and what I'm seeing here, it does have a Razzie nomination. So, I don't know.
For Worst Picture?
Yes, sir.
Dang, boy, they was some tough critics back in the 80s.
I mean, the thing about 1983 was like, who's in office at that time?
Reagan. They're going to correct us because, trust me, I'll be wrong a lot.
Yeah. So, Los, you obviously won 2-minute drill. So why don't you go ahead and kick off Scarface for us, and let's talk about how this movie has not impacted the culture of film, the culture of music, the culture of really life. Yeah, people, who truly do. They don't necessarily live out the creed of Tony Montana, but you have people who abide by such rules. You know, so tell me about, in your opinion, tell me about the impact that you believe this movie has now left on our culture.
You want me to do that? Then you want me to go into the actual thing? Oh, okay. It's not the most, commendable movie. It's not the movie you look up to. Like, you know what? That's what I want to be. But
that's the American dream.
That's the American dream that I came up wanting. But at the same time, if you take away the drug aspect of it and just put forth that general hustle that Tony Montana had, it's commendable. Now, the reason I look at it this way is because you saw him go from a refugee camp to the richest drug dealer in Miami. It was so inspiring in the most positive way you could think about it, outside of the drugs and the murder. He took a shit situation and he became king from it. And honestly, that's what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to take what it is that we love, take what it is that we think is going to get us to that next level, and put everything we can into it.
The one thing about this movie that I feel like will always live on, and Kay, you can actually attest to this as well. I think when we were like putting together the show, I think we were going back and forth about Scarface stuff. But the one thing about this movie, above all else, that will always live on, this movie has quotables to be damned. I'm talking about from the time the movie starts to the time the movie ends. Almost every scene has a legit quote that lives on to this day.
Yeah.
All right, so Scarface. We start off with the drug dealer Star Wars movie scroll, and they're talking about what 1980s Cuba was all about. Castro was being Castro. They give you a montage of just fucked up Cuba at the time, and once they give you that look, once they put you in that place, it goes to Tony Montana, played by Al Pacino, in the interrogation room, and he's meeting with the INS officials, with the immigration officials. Right. And they're asking him all kind of questions, of course. You ask him his name, tell him his name, and they're kind of just giving him the hardest time possible because they know that he's low-key full of shit.
And where'd you get your scar, tough guy?
He asked where he got a scar from, and, of course, eating pineapple. And he saw the tattoo on his hand which symbolizes that he was a hitman. Mm-hmm. That was kind of his thing. He used to kill communists. Mm-hmm. You know, he would get out the interrogation room, and he meets up with his homeboy Manny. And I'm sorry, I'll talk about that later. So, he's talking to Manny, and he asks him, you know, did you tell him what I told you to tell him? And Manny says, like, yeah, I told him I was in sanitation. And and you know, Scarface, Tony, he's like, I told you to tell you was in sanitary, not sanitation. And Manny, he just like does this little Kanye shrug, like whatever, like, nigga, we on the way to go to a refugee camp. Don't Kanye shrug me. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't say it right. You know where the hell we going?
Sanitation. I said sanitation.
So we get to the refugee camp, and I think it's like 2 months that passed, or no, actually a month passed. And you see Tony and a group of other Cubans playing the worst game of basketball ever. Mm-hmm. And Manny calls Tony over and tells him, like, look, dude, I got a green card and I got a job for us in Miami if we knock off Emilio Rabanga. Now, the issue they had with Rabanga was the dude that they're going to be doing the job for in Miami, Rabanga basically screwed him over. Mm-hmm. Ended up getting his brother pinched. So they wanted revenge. And, you know, after Manny told Tony this, you know, and in the line of work that he did, and I'm not going to do the Scarface voice because, trust me, mine is horrible. But he tells him he kills communists for fun. Before a green card, I'm going to carve him up real nice.
That's the very first quote. Well, outside the, you know, what you get the scar to eating pineapple or eating pussy, depending on which way you're watching it. That line immediately tells you who the fuck Tony Montana is.
And what he's willing to do.
He is willing
to get where he got to go. There's a shit ton of foreshadowing in this movie.
Absolutely.
Like, completely.
I remember rewatching the movie just yesterday. And that part comes, I remember rewinding that quote maybe about 3 times. I was like, that quote right there lets you know exactly who he is, what he's willing to do. He does not give a fuck. If whatever he has to go do is set him between him and success, he's gonna go through it. So when he says, I kill communists for fun before a green card, I gotta cover my real nice shit.
He's not with the games.
Not with the games. And then with that next scene comes the iconic libertad.
Bonus question, what does libertad mean?
Liberty.
You would have got that wrong too. It means freedom.
Yeah. Freedom, right?
Yeah, freedom. This is my movie, K.
But I got it out though. So comes in libertad, and then what's going on at this time to where Rabanga's running around already kind of like, oh shit, what's going on? Like that whole thing was staged.
It wasn't staged. It was just a general riot that was going on already, because that's just kind of what went down in those refugee camps, and they kind of saw that opportunity to take advantage of it. So one of the dudes, who I believe is Angel
Fernandez.
There you go.
Yeah.
Angel, he starts the Libertad chant. Then Manny jumps on, and they know at this point, Rabanga knows that they're, you know, looking at him. So he was definitely a pussy. He was definitely a pussy the entire time. And he was just backtracking and trying to get up out the room and everything. And when he finally sees the door, like, there's my exit. And as soon as he gets to the door, my man Tony busts in like, but a banger, but a free, you fuck. And just stabs him like 3 times. And that was that. And I loved it.
And then they go to get their green cards, and off to Miami they go. So I want to skip to the part when we see that snake bag Omar, right? And this scene is great because, one, it reminds me of the opening to Can't Out the Hustle. But when Omar pulls up and he's already high as shit, hitting his coke, whatever.
Jamming. Whatever he was listening to was his joint.
And so at first he comes up to Tony and Manny, and he tells them he wants to do some bullshit job for like $50.
$500.
$500.
It became 50 when Tony went ill on him.
Oh yeah, you're right. And so once again, Tony shows that he's not about the bullshit. He's out. He's there to make money, to get bread. You know. And then we get that next quote, which is even though the quote doesn't come from Tony, but it's an iconic quote. Big man, you want to make some big bucks, huh? Let's see how tough you are. You know something about cocaine? Digga man!
Kidding me or what, man?
Yo, man. At the end when he says, and Chico, if anything happened to the bag money, receipt. My boss, I can't even finish it, but it's that fucking great of a quote.
It was a great quote, but what I loved the most about it was that at the end of the day, he turned out to be the bitch.
He is
like
such
he
a
thought
snake.
he thought he was he thought he was just on top, and then Tony came through like, bro, I only been here 2 months.
They accept the job, and we get our first major plot point here, and they accept the job. Tony and Angel pull up to the hotel in Miami. This
one of the first excellent scenes.
One of the
you
first
watched.
magnificent scenes. I'm talking about the details in the scene. I remember, and me and you watched it the other night, Lo. So something I've always noticed. They got it set up to where you got Manny, Tony, Chi-Chi, and Angel in the car, and they're going to what they're gonna do. And if we don't come out at a certain time, y'all come in there. And when they knock on the door,
fucking Manny. I'm sorry, continue.
And when they knock on the door, we'll get to that in a second. Fucking Manny. When he knocks on the door and the Indian dude answers the door. Oh, Colombian.
Colombian, yeah.
What the hell? Okay. You know what?
Movie you watching?
Because the cops called him Indian. That's why.
That was that BET version you was watching.
Yeah. So he goes over there. The guy answers the door, and as it's just Tony there. No, it's Tony and Angel, but Angel's kind of just sitting outside. He comes inside, but when he introduced the sister to Tony, Marta looks at Tony, don't say shit,
decides
and goes right back to whatever she's watching on TV.
Cause she knew what was up. Like, I'm about to be your friend, bro.
Oh my God,
she knew what the deal was.
She knew exactly what was popping, and so you get the vibe off top that something is about to go wrong for sure. So as they get to the the actual exchange between Tony and the Colombian, you got that dude coming up from behind Angel to pretty much set them up.
Mm-hmm. Puts a gun to his head. Tony's like not with it. As soon as and this is even though Marta, she wasn't with the shits, I banged with Marta because as soon as Tony even inched toward his gun, she pulled out the yapper and
that
was
chopper,
like,
boy.
"Yo, I don't even know what she said,
but we could try to break it down in our language. Boy, you pull
Right.
that motherfucker.
Man, relax. You know where the fuck you at?" And the reason I say fucking Manny is because if he wasn't too busy looking at that flat-assed white girl in the car, he'd have saw somebody sneaking up behind Angel. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then he still ended up getting, played. Mm-hmm. And then even after old girl left, he looked up and he sees Angel's not outside anymore. That should have been a red flag off rip. Mm-hmm. But anyway, back into the house. Now, the only reason they hemmed up Angel is because they didn't plan on selling them the drugs at all. They planned on getting the money and keeping the coke.
Right.
So they had this little back and forth spat. You got the money, you got the coke. They both said no. Mm-hmm. So they were like, okay, we're going to get this money. So fast forward, they got Angel hemmed up on the actual shower. They got him locked up. And he turns to Tony and is like, watch what happens to your friend. And it's so crazy the way this part is shot because you don't see him cut anything. You just see the results of it. But the results of it alone is like, Tony, you just watching this go down? Now he's hemming Tony up like, you're going to tell me where the money's at or I'm, basically make you look like your homeboy. Manny finally decides, all right, shit ain't too kosher. Let me go check on everybody else. He goes up and he comes in wrecking shit. Now, that's one thing I could give Manny. He fucks up a lot. But when it's time for him to come in and hold it down for the Montana clan, he does his thing. He came in, he let shots ring off. At this point, Angel is barbecue pork.
Yeah, he's chopped up. He's out of here.
Him's done.
Him and Chi-Chi, they come in and they're just like, all right, let's go ahead and start mowing cats down. Marta probably went out the worst because she took blast.
She did. And real quick, we get another out of nowhere quote that just sticks with me for the longest. Chi-Chi.
Get That was in songs.
A bunch of them. Chi-Chi get the yayo.
Fast forward because this is a long movie, so we got to really try to go forth and go through with this. Fast forward after Chi-Chi gets the yayo. You got
Tony runs down Hector.
In the middle of Miami Beach.
And smoked him right in the street.
Which I thought was so gangster. But here's the issue I have with that scene. as close as them cop cars were, how did he get away so easy after murdering a man in the street?
Hey, y'all thought, die. But you know what? This movie, like I said, it flows to the point to where you don't really start asking those questions until long after you're done watching it, because you're so into what's going on at that part. So, like for me, when this next scene when he calls Omar and no, not Omar, the snake bag.
Frank? No, what you mean? Oh no, he calls Omar. He calls Omar to let him know that it was basically a setup. I got the money and I got the coke.
Right,
Omar tells him, bring it to me. Frank in the most gangster way, fuck you. I'm sorry, Tony in the most gangster way, fuck you. I'm taking it to Frank.
Myself, yeah.
And you get to the scene where they're finally walking into Frank's house, and Omar, being a big ass kid, gonna run past Frank. You're gonna run past Tony and bump him on the way up.
I'll walk in first, goddammit, not you.
Man, I'm so glad he got what he had coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
We finally meet Frank, and Frank is just one of those super duper fun loving drug salesman. And you know, you're friendly neighborhood
gun in a day in his life.
Exactly, friendly neighborhood drug man.
Very personable.
He was very happy to hear about what happened. He was sad about what happened to Angel, but it was because of the work that he put in. He kind of developed a different kind of trust for Tony and for his crew. They're sitting down, they're having, drinks, they're having gin to celebrate the fact they got the coke and they got the money. And this is when we're introduced to Michelle Pfeiffer. And as Elvira is her name, correct?
Elvira, yeah.
So she comes down from that plush elevator. Frank had a beautiful house.
He did. I love the way this movie's shot because, it definitely takes Brian De Palma, who also did, Mission Impossible, the first Mission Impossible, Snake Eyes with Nick Cage. He has a real knack for detail. The scene when Tony's about to get busted by the undercovers, and he zooms in on the clock, and he breaks it back out, and the time has already changed now and all that. Like he has a serious attention to detail. So when Elvira does walk out for the first time, and he gets that shot of her in the elevator, it's the perfect shot because that's how that immediately tells you that's the girl Tony's going for, and you know it.
I ain't gonna lie though, she looked exactly like a cokehead in this movie though.
Oh, she's slim like a cokehead too.
And you know what's so crazy is I look at it, and that's just kind of always been Michelle Pfeiffer. Like even in Dangerous Minds, she just looked like a reformed crackhead. Cokehead, rather.
Cocaine in remission.
Exactly. Now I'm trying to, teach the youth not to go the way I did, type deal.
So he works with Frank. They go over to the Babylon Club, and this is when we get, of course, the two rules: don't underestimate the other guy's greed, and of course, don't get high on your own supply. But the next scene, I think is something because Tony goes to visit his mom. And obviously his mom's been in the States for some time. His mom does not welcome Tony at all.
Oh, but his sister does.
His sister does. Now, Gina, I did like Gina, but Gina was a 20-year-old floozy. She was very promiscuous.
But she was cold.
But she was cold, though. But she was very, very, very promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? No judging, but, judged off this movie, yeah. But the mom is just disgusted by his life of crime. His mom's gonna throw him out after he gave her $1,000. And the money's hot. I don't want to touch it.
Hey man, she was stupid. She should have took that bread.
I mean, it's still 1983 in Miami. Do what you got to do with that.
Right.
But
exactly,
your living conditions ain't necessarily the greatest right now.
To have pride right now. But anyway, I thought it was crazy because after that scene, and we meet Gina for the first time, we see Tony's mom. And then, Manny's waiting outside for Tony to come out. And the first thing Manny's old fast ass wants to say is, to comment on his sister. And then you get that stern warning from Tony to Manny. Hey, you stay away from her, man.
Now, Tony is...
They go to Bolivia.
Yeah, now they're going to Bolivia with Omar to basically set up this new deal that they got going on with Alejandro Sosa. Mm-hmm. Only reason Frank didn't go because he had some things going on that he couldn't leave the country. Mm-hmm. So they go to set up this new deal with Sosa, and everything's going what appears to be swimmingly. But, Omar's trying to be big boss. I do the talking, you fall back. So, Tony's like, okay. But, of course, in true Tony fashion, he steps up and lets it be known that he not for that. After all the conversations happen and they're all about to leave, Sosa tells Omar, go ahead. I'm going to talk to Tony for a little bit. I'll make sure I get him out. I'll make sure I get him back to Florida.
Right.
Sosa finally reveals to Tony, like, I don't trust him. My colleague told me when I went inside that this is the dude that was a police informant back in New York. That basically the reason why they're in Bolivia in the first place. Omar finally gets what's coming to him. He gets lynched from a helicopter.
Oh, correction. He gets his ass beat.
Oh yeah,
first.
somehow in between like them little 10 minutes.
Yeah, like the walking to the chopper and then the actual chopper itself.
It was like a walking wreck because his suit was done.
His face was done for.
Like I think that they may have dragged him directly to the helicopter.
You notice that the guy that throws him out the chopper is the same dude that kills Tony at the end?
The dude that threw him out the chopper?
Yeah, same guy that kills Tony at the end.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a single line in the entire movie.
He's got sunglasses on, and he's very, very much about...
He wears his sunglasses at night.
Be very mute. They throw Omar out the plane to let him hang from the neck by the chopper, which is a hell of a way to go. And then they fly out with his body dangling. I'm like, huh. So nobody's worried about nobody seeing this body kind of just hanging out the plane. Okay, that's cool. But we do get that. We get that quote, the balls in my word quote, and I thought that was just real gangster. You know what I'm saying? Because even he came with Omar, so it's like anybody else in that position be like, well, shit, if you did that to him, what's about to happen?
What you gonna do to us?
Exactly.
Right.
So, it's definitely this thing. It's this thing to where when you really think about it, you got to, for sure, give Tony that props because I'm not sure how I can play that off and not look like I'm not scared. But...
Well, Tony just stabbed a man 3 times just to get to America.
Yeah.
And then he also, he saw somebody get chopped up in front of him with a chainsaw, and he also killed that same guy in the street. Right. We don't even know what happened in Tony's before that day that he that he stabbed dudes to go to America. So, right. Seeing somebody getting hung from a helicopter, it's not necessarily the worst shit he saw that year. You know what I mean?
But also at the end of that balls in my word quote, I thought some super gangster shit. He goes, I don't break it for nobody. He said, you want to go in with me? You say so, but if you don't, make a move.
Oh yeah, because I mean, and in that situation, it's either you're gonna trust me or you're gonna kill me. I just saw what you did to my boy, so obviously he not going home.
Right.
So now it's, am I gonna go home or am I about to end up like him? So what other options did you really have? Trust me or kill me.
Right. So back in Miami, obviously Frank is pissed off that Tony made the deal with Sosa without really consulting him, but you kind of get what's going on with this whole situation as far as what Tony's truly after. And at this point now, you kind of realize Frank doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Nope.
He's just a dude that he likes money, he likes fast cars, he likes women. But when it comes down to, this business, Frank has zero idea what the fuck he's doing.
None.
And when you trust flunkies like Omar, and you allow Omar to handle your business, and you got Omar doing side shit, and on top of that is an informant in your umbrella. Mm-hmm. You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
And it's bad enough because Sosa no longer trusts your entire, your entire crew. Mm-hmm. Because, this one dude's an informant. And Tony being so direct, being so honest, and at the same time being so new, he obviously couldn't have been too, involved in what was going on. So that Tony was really their only in. Not
to mention Frank didn't believe Omar was an informant.
Really?
No, if you watch the scene again, as he's sitting there pissed off about the deal itself, he says, "No, I don't believe it. I've known this guy, blah 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 years. He's not an informant."
Oh, Frank doesn't believe it.
What did I say?
I thought you said Tony.
No. Yeah, Frank doesn't believe the Omar was an informant, or wasn't.
But I mean, let's be real though. For somebody who's been in his gang for that long, and grew that much trust, all the shit he's done pre-movie.
Right.
I mean, it would be hard for him to be like, I don't trust it. You know what I'm saying? I highly doubt that my best guy is against me.
Right. So we now know at this point, Tony's no longer with Frank. He goes off, he starts his own organization. And then the next scene, we get the nightclub scene. We get the dirty detective, Mel Bernstein. My notes actually says Dirty Bernie. Those are my notes. Dirty Bernie. He came through, and it's always that cop in these drug gangster movies that feel like he just can't be touched because he's the law. Mm-hmm. But we all know. Trust me, you'll get yours in the end, brother. We get that. But Bernstein comes over, basically begins to blackmail Tony. Extort Tony rather, and in exchange for his freedom. And then also he tells Tony that he can have his guys get the drop on whoever else is making moves out here, and we can go take down whoever you want us to. But there's a fee involved. We want like $10,000 a month, something like that.
I think $10,000,
something like that. But I thought that was something because Tony, after the Bernstein exchange, here we go. Tony he pisses off Frank because he's openly pursuing Elvira now, mm-hmm. right? And Frank is such a it's a swinging dick contest at this point because Elvira's Frank's girl, mm-hmm. right? And what's crazy is because as he's talking to Frank, he noticed that Gina's in the club with some dude, and they're dancing. Once again, she's being promiscuous. That's what it is. And,
Damn Gina.
And they're dancing and all that. Dude gropes her buttocks, and by the time they take off to the bathroom, Tony's right behind the ass.
Yo, as soon as he saw a dude grab cheeks, bro, it was like, nope. It's time to shut this down.
Right now. But, he goes in there, busts through the door, kick old boy out. He grabs Gina like, if I catch you near, I'm going to wipe the fucking walls with you. And you get his point when it comes to your sister. This is not a life you want to have your sibling in. Mm-hmm. Even though it's you're in it and it's beneficial for you, and the money that you make it, you give to her, let her go do what she do. But you don't want to see her in this life. Like, nah, this is not for you. So in that case, I probably would have went behind them as well once I saw old boy grab her ass and then went over there and wrecked shop. But that's just me. We're now at the part where after Manny takes Tony home, after Manny takes Elvira home.
And Elvira shooting her shot with Manny.
Elvira straight shoots her shot at Manny.
The early thought.
And Manny's trying his best to resist, but he can't really resist. However, he does resist that night. But
does he really? Because we don't know.
We don't really know.
He may have went in there and beat Gina's cheeks.
Well, no, because this next part, when the dude come in during that weird ass performance with the dude in the fat suit and the mask, but the assassination attempt that Frank brought on because of the whole Elvira bullshit, right? So when he calls Manny's in bed with this white chick. We don't know that's Gina. Actually, it's not Gina.
What if Manny just has the stamina of 1,000 bulls?
That's also possible as well. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. Like he don't turn down nothing. But yeah. So Frank attempts to have Tony killed, just solely off of Elvira because he feels that threat. And he gets out, and not to mention the two dudes who try to kill Tony do a shit job at it, and they themselves end up getting killed. But when Tony has
who else but Scarface?
Tony has was it Chi-Chi?
Yeah.
Call.
No, that wasn't Chi-Chi. It was just some random fat guy. One of the people just in his crew.
Right. In his camp. He has at 3 o'clock a.m. He has the guy call Frank to tell Frank we fucked up. He got away. All while he's sitting there because he knows what's up, right?
Gun on Frank the whole night.
Gun on Frank the whole time.
Frank gets the call, and he acts like it's Elvira. She said that she was pissed, and You know, she was going to be out for a little bit. So he acts like Elvira calls and says, okay, if you're going to be gone another hour, that's cool, and hangs up. He immediately calls his bluff, tells him that he's full of shit. And that's when you realize Frank was a bitch this entire time. As soon as Frank realized what was going on, even though he had two dudes that had guns that was there to protect him, he's still begging for his life from Tony, because at this point, he realized Tony is a different animal. Everyone has tried to kill you. He realized
Tony about that life.
He's seriously about that life. Like, I stabbed a nigga to get here.
For you.
You know, he tells Frank, I'm not going to kill you. He turns to Manny, you shoot this piece of shit.
Which, by the way, Rick Ross took that for War Ready?
Well, you know, Rick Ross needs some kind of gangsta anything to put in this stuff. Yeah. So Manny shoots Frank, and then I think one of their guards gets shot by Chi-Chi. At this point, they kill everybody except one guard, and my man is sweating bullets. Like,
the cop,
yeah, no. Oh yeah, he did kill the cop. I forgot. He sits down and talks to the cop. No. Yeah, you're right. So after he kills everybody, he sits down with the cop, and he lets the cop know that, you know, you fucked up as well. And, you know, he tells Tony to relax, which you don't tell Tony Montana. He ends up shooting.
Never tell him to relax.
Not Tony Montana. He shoots him in the stomach, and then shoots him again. Cop dies. So now the only person that's living is one lone bodyguard. Now, you just watched your entire conglomerate get knocked off. So now it's like, I'm obviously next. And I love the way they shoot it, because it's this suspenseful music, and what do you want to do with him? And they're zooming into Tony. Music's building. And you want a job? My nigga said,
man.
Yeah, Tony, I do want a job. Like, you just saw all the stress just fall. Now, I love this scene. And the reason that I do is because right after he kills him, he goes outside, and that's when he sees the blimp, "The world is yours." Now, Kay, for additional points, what blimp was that? And it wasn't Goodyear.
It wasn't a Goodyear?
No, sir.
It was Firestone.
Nope. It wasn't. I swear it was Firestone. It wasn't even a tire company. Because the next thing is... go ahead.
Let me think.
I'll give you a hint. It's a travel company. It's an old school travel company. I don't even think they're even in existence anymore.
Shit.
I
couldn't tell you.
Pan American Airways.
You said it was...
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have remembered that.
And you see it again when he's flying back from New York. Well, we'll get to that. Well, you don't see the blimp, but you see the actual travel company. I think they would get low key sponsoring it the same way Windows Phones was sponsoring Get Out. But the way that scene is shot is where he goes outside, and you look at the list. He went from the shooter to the connect to the leader. And the first thing he sees when he takes out the head honcho is, "The world is yours." And you can see it in his eyes, like, the world is mine. It's so crazy, because this is actually an hour, 25 minutes into the movie. Right. We're at the official halfway point. That's when we finally get another montage of life. You know, he marries Elvira, buys his sister a house. Buys his house, rather. He's making all this money.
Tony and Elvira get married.
Which is what I said in the beginning.
I missed that part. Sorry.
You know, and you get the montage of everything's going on. And now Tony's officially that dude. He has his mansion. He has his cocaine mountain. Mount Cocaina, if you want to call it. He was living a good life. And then the cash.
So, the cash thing. You know, this is back in them days when the undercover sting would take hours. Because, like, you know, they literally set up this particular part as if, you know, they're 100% on board. They're criminals, too. The guy's talking about, you know, him being hella cool with Marlon Brando and shit like that. And basically, you know, you're thinking, all right, well, Tony's going to, you're going to move a little bread, da-da-da. All of a sudden, the dude that's counting the shit with him pulls out the gun like, FBI, motherfucker.
You know what would have pissed me off the most about that? They was in there like 6 hours.
At least.
Like, you could have easily busted me hour 3.
At least.
We could have got up out of here a long time ago.
After the third $100,000 count, bust me.
Right. I'm caught.
See, once I count all this money, bro? Jeez. You could have been bust me.
But I understand, though, because they wanted to make sure they got him on all of that, and they wanted to make sure that they couldn't pinch him for the drugs, which they didn't. They wanted to at least get him for tax evasion.
Right, exactly. So,
tax evasion, I'm sorry.
Which is interesting, because now that we know he's been busted, right? Tony's been busted, and the lawyer's basically saying, the best way you're gonna get out of this is, you'll get sentenced to 5 years. You'll be out in 3. And Tony says, "Fuck that! I'm not doing no more time."
Right, I'm not doing any time. Right,
and then this is where shit begins to just crumble because in comes Sosa and his team of people, and they present Tony with an offer to make all this go away if he takes out, the guy.
Well, he didn't could just come in. He when he ended up getting his bail posted, a $5 million bond, and he was talking to his lawyer and he was telling him what he had to do, and if he can get off for the money, he's definitely going to go for tax evasion. So he ends up going back to Bolivia for a little bit because Sosa heard about what was going on, and he wasn't feeling it, but he was like, to make everything right, there is somebody in New York that's jaw jacking. And he turns on the TV, and not only, this was a different form of snitching. Not only is he saying names, he has pictures. Like, you see this nigga? he got work. You know what I mean?
Man, this is a drug dealer.
He is a bad guy.
Playboy.
I was like, bro,
he say my name like that?
He has pictures. He came to tattle. That was his whole mentality.
I'm like, bro,
you're
not even sworn in under oath.
Right,
you're on TV.
You're right. You're doing this for ratings at this point.
Man, shit.
Was it the Phil Donahue show? Because
like
back
that.
Then Donahue was popping. You want to get your point across, you go on Donahue.
Yeah, the guy was sitting there and he was singing like a fucking canary. Like, he was literally naming names. So by the time Sosa's name and picture pops up,
now he's nervous, and he even said that he had a media tour in different cities and he was going to Spain after a while to drop these names. Like, this ain't got nothing to do with them, man.
Like, see this dude right here? It's a bad motherfucker, man. That's Sosa.
He was out there tattling. So they figured the only way that they can make right is if Tony goes with his crew and another Spanish speaking dude that just didn't know any English,
who also played Mr. Sugar Dance in that.
I was going to say the exact same thing. He was Ace Ventura's landlord,
Mr. Sugar Dance.
Mr. Sugar Dance. So obviously his English is just fine. But they get to New York. I'm sorry, I know I'm end up telling this entire movie, but I watched this movie at least 30 times. They get to New York and they find a dude that was doing the tattling, and they put a bomb charge under his car, and they wait it out. The next day, he's going to, I'm assuming, go tell some more. And, they're trailing him, and they find out he's going to pick up his wife and kids. Yeah. And that's Tony's biggest thing. That's one thing again, this movie foreshadows and it connects a lot of things throughout the movie, because you think about his beef with his mom, but he still answered the mom as soon as she called. You think about how hard he is on his sister. His main thing was no women, no kids. I don't do that.
He's big on family.
He's really big on family. So when he realized what was going on, that's when he decides to shoot Mr. Sugar Dance. And I don't know his name in the movie.
I don't think he has a name.
He had a name. He introduces him, but he's just such a non-factor character. But yeah, he shoots Mr. Sugar Dance, and he's talking
Mr. Sugar Dance.
He's talking mad shit to his dead body. I mean, he's going off. Look
at you now. Look at you now.
Look at you now. I was like, yo, he's dead.
It doesn't matter. Look at you now.
There's only so much he can look at right now.
So, at this point,
Sosa's pissed.
Yeah, Sosa's pissed, and Tony is high, really high,
really high.
And
man, he was blowed, bro. High, really high. Ain't even. He was like done.
Like slopes.
He was with the "World Is Yours" blimp, like right there.
Jesus Christ. So now this is before or after we find out about Manny and Gina.
This is all still before.
Before, okay.
Because when he comes back, right after he has the argument with Sosa,
that Gina's missing.
That Gina's been missing.
He hasn't heard from Manny in a few days. What the fuck is going on? And then obviously when he says that, when we find out that Gina's been missing for days due to the mom calling it, and we find out that Manny's, we haven't seen him in a while. I'm like, they're together. They are together.
Yeah, you instantly piece it together, but it's funny because Tony didn't piece it together because he just got into it with Manny. Because Manny was his head of security. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Manny wasn't on his job, fucking Manny. And then my sister's missing. He's not even concerned with Manny. He's like, yo, find Manny so we can get this going. When he realized he couldn't find him, like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go take care of it. He gets the address from his mom's and he goes straight to the house.
Mm-hmm. And then opening the door, we find out that...
Manny answers the door in the velvet robe. You look like you just got done.
Hey,
you just got done stroking my sister out.
Like,
right, the ultimate disrespect.
The ultimate disrespect.
Don't ever pull up in a robe, bruh. You better throw some sweats on.
At least have all sweats in a beater. You gonna open my sister's door
and you greet me with a fucking smile, you son of a bitch.
And then the sister come out like, yeah, I just got that stroke.
Bro, I just stroked your sister out.
I just got the Manny magic.
Yeah, I'm still sweating. Oh my God. But yeah, we found out that Manny and Gina got married. And it was supposed to be a surprise for Tony. Like, he really wanted that surprise.
Right, like, this ain't what I wanted today.
You know what I'm saying?
You know how fucked up my day's been?
Listen, even if Tony had a fantastic day, he didn't want that surprise at all.
Right.
Trust me, I feel like if Tony just got done doing like a $10 million deal with somebody and they find out that Manny and Gina got married on a surprise to him, he still would have shot Manny.
Still. Right.
Like, no problem.
I just came up on a Billy and I'm moving to L.A. Manny's still gonna die, right. No matter what. So after all the melee, Gina's losing her mind. Tony's high and really not understanding what just happened. Mm-hmm. So he does what Tony does best. He goes back and gets higher.
Gets more high, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he lays out Mount Cocaine, and he's not even doing lines anymore. Now he's just,
dipping his head.
Exactly. He's eating the booty of the cocaine at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's really getting involved at that. Like, he's really going to work. So he finally has a moment of, oh my God, what did I just do?
What did I just do? I just smoked my man.
Like, I just killed my mans. And, he's going through it, so he decides to hit Mount Cocaine again. As he's coming back, and it's too funny because he has the Rudolph the white-nosed reindeer look on his face. And it's Gina. Now, Gina, she's high, but she's high in the sense of delusion. Like, now it's like...
Chi-Chi and the other dude gave her some sort of a pill to get her to come because she was bugging out after Tony shot Manny.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, now she's kind of in a delusional place to like, all right, so you won't let me have old boy. You won't let me get stroked out in the bathroom. You won't let me fuck your best friend. You must want me, which is ultimately what she was saying. Right. So, she goes in there in all of her Gina glory and decides to start shooting at Tony. She catches Tony in the leg. She thinks it's funny. She's still shooting at Tony. But it's the shooting... Well, while all of this is going on, and Tony doesn't see it on his camera, Sosa's people are now infiltrating Tony's fortress. So because she's shooting, one of the dudes think that that's Tony shooting at them. So he comes through the window on some Supreme Ninja shit and lights Gina up.
But he would even like conspicuous about it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. He came in just like, I'm here for on a mission. My mission is to
Gina
do this.
Gotta be the first one. Gina gotta go. To get it. Yeah. So, and that's pretty much what laid the groundwork for what I believe is the coldest way for a main character who's led the life such as Tony's to actually go out.
The greatest ending to a movie thus far.
I'm talking about if you're gonna go out, you go out with a fucking bang.
The definition of going out with a bang.
I mean, you go out with a goddamn bang. And so you have goons amongst goons coming through the window, climbing up the damn side of the house, and they're all strapped, and they're chopping, they're slitting the throats of all of Tony's men. So he only had like 5 people in his house prior to him.
It was a rough day.
You know what I'm saying? And you got 20, 30 dudes rushing, and they're just going crazy. And once Gina's gone, Tony, he's high, but he's pretty much what's going to happen. I'll come back for you. And then that's when you get all right. So you want to fuck with me? You're fucking with the best. And then he just goes out and he just starts talking shit. And he's not, what I'm saying. And the crazy thing about it is, I love the fact that Brian De Palma and even the writer of the movie Oliver Stone, they made sure if Tony's going to go out in this scene, he's taking a legit 15 motherfuckers with him. Because when he comes outside, no, the say hello to my, there you go, the say hello to my little friend part, and he blows a huge ass hole through the door. Oh, he's coming out blasting.
Oh, you knew what he was coming to do.
You knew what he was coming to do. He was coming to play.
The crazy part about it, and there's so much detail to the movie that you also appreciate, because if he wasn't so high off of coke and high off adrenaline, that whole scene would have been different, because he was getting lit. He took more shots than what they people took.
I think he ate about 6 shots before he actually got
Easily
shot.
like 6 to 10, and then
including the one that Jenna hit him with.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Peoples Hernandez looking dude, he shows up, in his shades at night. And kind of rewinding a little bit, even though he was such a minute character, he was a very important piece to Tony's life, the fat security guard, because you see him get domed by Peoples Hernandez in the glasses. And same dude, and even though I love this movie, sometimes continuity is a thing. How did he get upstairs?
I was thinking that exact thing. I'm like, what, did he climb up? Because he has a very slow, Grim Reaper kind of demeanor.
Very slow. He's in a trench coat.
So did you
in humid Miami?
Did you climb slowly? Did you climb at all?
Did you float?
Did they drop you via helicopter and it was like a really very solid helicopter? You just got there. I don't know, but they never really explained how exactly he got up there. And that balcony looks like a legit pretty high up.
Right.
But as he is shooting at everybody's getting them bullets. One dude lets off a shot, which basically makes him drop the gun, but he's still talking shit. I'm still standing, huh? I'll take your fucking bullet. Da-da-da-da. And then as
coke and adrenaline, boy.
That coke and adrenaline got him going right now. And so as he's sitting there like, come on, da-da-da-da. And at one blast to the back,
and that was it.
It's still in my opinion, the most iconic way for a character who's lived the life and done the ill shit that a character like Tony Montana has done. For a character to go out like that, like you said, that is the definition of going out with a bang. Mm-hmm. You went out in a complete blaze of glory. Like
no movie has been able to emulate that.
No movie to emulate that feeling, no. But there have been some that has come close. Like, I don't want to use it as an example, but I do love the movie Belly, when Lennox, he's getting murked out. And, unlike Scarface, it's a much more darker scene.
Yeah. If there was a close second, it'd be
Belly.
It'd be Ox.
Because that Tony's death is well lit. It's well shot as well. Mm. With Belly and Hype Williams and his attraction to dark, it's primarily only real light you see is lights from the guns. So by the time Chiquita drops from that second floor down to that first floor, and then cuts Ox's throat, we know what's going on. But with Scarface, it emulates a feeling because the thing is, as he's on that balcony or on that second floor banister, and he's talking shit and he's going. You can look behind him and see my man is creeping. And it's like, oh, fuck. Tony, just turn around. But no matter what, he has no gun. Right. So let's just say he happened to hear old boy step on a Cheeto or some shit as he's walking
and up. He's injured, so there's not much he can do.
And he's quite injured as well. So let's say he happens to hear the guy walking up behind you. And he turns around, he still would have got shot. But I feel like, that coke, he's coked up.
The adrenaline
is going. It's the perfect way for Tony to truly go out because he's just going. And the only thing that stops him from going is when that shotgun hits his back.
I'm not going to lie, because I've seen this movie so many times, I was able to look at this scene in a comedic fashion. When it happens, first thing I thought about was, the only reason I'm crying, because the adrenaline.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle.
I don't know why that came to my head when I was watching it.
So, yeah, the Grim Reaper puts that big-ass shotgun in his back, and Tony falls into the fountain. And ironically, right in front of the world is yours. The world is yours statue, and we get the movie.
And that is Scarface.
criminally underrated depending on who you're talking to.
Oh, yeah.
Overly loved depending on who you're talking to. A movie that will definitely stand the test of time for years to come. Obviously, the new movie that's coming out soon has a lot of shoes to fill. Iconic film.
Hey, man, I just want to say that this next Scarface that comes out, if it doesn't do well, it's going to go down in history. Like, I can hear rappers talking about how bad it is in their next albums.
You remember when the rumors were T.I. and Rihanna were supposed to be playing the main roles?
And then Idris Elba was going to be
Idris Elba and Rihanna. Rihanna was definitely supposed to be Michelle Pfeiffer in the movie, apparently. But
well, the reason why I have faith in it is because of David Ayer. I mean, if you take out Suicide Squad, which is a very divisive movie, but this is the man that wrote Training Day. This is the man that directed End of Watch.
Speaking of Training Day, I would have been great with the original director as well. That they had plugged in for this.
For F. Gary Gray to do Scarface, right?
Antoine Fuqua.
That's right, Antoine Fuqua. I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, Fuqua was originally supposed to do this new Scarface, which I thought would have been fantastic. Like, if David Ayer wrote Scarface, this new Scarface, and had Fuqua directed, I'm all in for that.
Yo, I would have been like, cool.
Yeah, I'm
just
all in
get
for
a solid actor, and you might have me.
But I feel as if David Ayer, who can shoot dark and gritty very, very well. Once again, going back to End of Watch, super underrated movie. If you've never seen it, I strongly suggest you check it out.
And it was an excellent movie.
Yeah,
End of Watch was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Like I said, Suicide Squad is divisive at best, but it shows David Ayer can really shoot a gritty, darker tone. And a remake like Scarface screams for a darker, grittier tone. So anyway, let's get into takeaways. Los, you are our guest of this episode of our listener's choice episode. So let's get your takeaway, sir. Who's getting your That Guy award?
Come on now, Antonio Montana, if you will.
Okay.
That guy, he's the dude, the ultimate hustler.
Who's getting your That Chick award?
Feel me on this, because this is an older movie, so obviously there wasn't that many lead female roles. I'm gonna have to give it to Marta. And the only reason I give it to her is because she was with the shits. Like, you knew from when you first met her, she was gonna have something real big and some real big involvement.
Yeah.
And she was ready. She was ready, dude. Like, she really was prepared to take him down. She lost in the end, but if there had to be that chick, I had to give it to Marta.
Who's getting your This Fool award?
Manny.
What? Yeah. Why Manny?
Okay. Let's walk through the movie one more time.
No need.
I'm gonna explain exactly. I'm gonna keep it strictly on Manny. They get to America. When they get set up, if Manny was watching, wouldn't he have seen Angel get dragged into the room?
Well, depending on where
No. I don't think he
where the car was, he was able to see Angel. Think about where the car was. Remember, they even do a scene where the camera's panning out of the door to Angel's face, looking back at the car, and then that's when you see the white girl walking up to the car.
Right.
So you have that.
Right.
You also have the deal with his sister. Mm-hmm. Like, out of all people, no matter what, Tony better than anybody in this world. And I just gave you the warning to leave her alone. Mm-hmm. Like, all the issues that plagued Tony in this movie was because of Manny and chasing chicks. You know what I mean? So even though, he came through in the clutch, he's kind of the reason to be in the clutch. Like, Manny's that fool. Manny's that fool to me. I'm sorry.
Let me get, what are you cutting up?
Nothing. This movie is 2 hours and 50 minutes long, and I'd reduce scenes, but there's legitimately nothing you can cut out of this movie that isn't detrimental to the plot.
An iconic scene.
I have 3.
All right.
My balls and my word, because you truly get an idea that Tony is in it for Tony, and Tony's going to do what Tony wants to do. The World Is Yours blimp, because I felt like when it led to that montage, this was the Tony's that guy situation. You know what I'm saying? It was just shot so great. You felt like the power has officially shifted.
Right.
Like, Tony got the plug. Tony killed everybody that got him in the door. And then, like, all right, the world is mine. You're absolutely correct, Pan and Blimp. And the ending, the most iconic scene.
Tony's demise.
Tony's demise, man, because that was the only way you were going to get somebody that gritty. You had to sneak up. You had to be smarter than Tony to truly kill him. And you had to outsmart Tony. And Tony was just way too smart. But you caught him on a bad day. So, yeah, that's the iconic scene. But no, those are my 3 iconic scenes.
Kay Williams, who's getting your That Guy award?
Man, I'm with Los on that guy. It's definitely going to be Tony.
All right.
It's definitely going to be Tony.
Why
but that chick, well, Tony, I mean, you just watching his rags to riches struggle,
right?
Like, he had that hunger, he had that hustle, that ambition to get on top, and he ended up doing it from nothing to something. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew his name. I mean, let's be real. He was the Cuban Frank White. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was the American gangster, for real. But my chick award, it'll go to Elvira, man. It'll go to Elvira. And the reason why is because she used what she had to get ahead.
These hoes ain't loyal. You know that.
Especially Elvira.
You know what I'm saying?
You know that.
She was like, swear, Frank dead? Tony, my guy.
Exactly. So Frank's dead? Yeah. I think I love you, Tony.
Exactly.
You are kind of cute for a Cuban.
And
you know what I'm saying? Like, she used what she had to get ahead, man, and it kind of puts you on point to, like, the video vixens, the Instagram chicks that's getting their fame. You know what I'm saying?
She was
like,
the first Kardashian.
Yeah. There you go. She was the first Kardashian. You know what I'm saying? So Elvira, man, that's that chick.
All right, give me your this fool.
And she was still about that life. You know what I'm saying? She had a little pistol in her purse every now and again. So,
but she broke out when the time was right. That I can tell you.
Right.
This fool award.
Man, I'm gonna go with what's my man? Frank.
Yeah, good one.
Frank was the fool. He should have knew his business. He didn't know his business well.
Yeah, Frank had a very amateur way of looking at things. So
exactly,
we had,
but he never evolved his thinking.
Exactly. And Tony even said it, like, Frank's an idiot.
What are you cutting out?
Man, you can't cut nothing out of this.
Nothing.
You classic.
You can't.
You can't. If you do, you missed out on something vital. Like, every scene is something important to the next scene.
That's what I love about this movie, because every scene, they still double back to close that off. Like, oh, that's why this happened. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
This movie, for it to be damn near 3 hours, it's a chain link. Like, if you take one link out, your chain ain't gonna fit.
Right.
You gonna miss something out. It ain't gonna lock up right. You gonna be lost at the end of the story.
And
can't cut nothing out.
And of course, give me your iconic scene.
My iconic scene, man. Since watching this, being young, watching this, the dude hanging from the helicopter. That'll always resonate with me. the cheesy disco music when they be hitting the club.
And I love the music in this movie, man. I mean, this movie so fucking well.
Okay, quick question. Who dances better, Tony Montana or Katy Perry with the Migos?
Hey, man, Katy Perry. She got Tony beat, bro.
Because Tony kind of bounces a lot in that little scene. Yeah. He's not really doing too much, but kind of like bouncing and flaring his arms.
Katy Perry got him beat by a long shot. And then, of course, I'm like Los, man. Tony's demise is that's like the beginning scene of Belly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That'll always resonate with you. Whenever you think of Scarface, you're going to always think of Say Hello to My Little Friend.
Right.
And Let Loose.
For me, I'm going to say my That Guy award obviously is going to be Tony Montana. For reasons like you guys, we literally watch a rags to riches story, the rise and fall story, but it's so detailed, it's so intact. So for that, I feel like, even though it wasn't necessarily what we call a noble death,
no, not at all.
But not at all.
But considering,
Tony can't get a noble death anyway.
Exactly.
He wasn't noble
at all. It's not like Mel Gibson in Braveheart, but it's considering what he's the ride that we were on. From the beginning to the end, it's a character that you grew to love, you grew to root for, Even he himself say, "Get ready to root for the bad guy." You're right. I am rooting for you because you're doing some ill shit, but you got some guys out there who want to touch you. So it's like, come on, Tony, you can get through this. Sell some more coke, do something. So for that, I would say my That Guy award is gonna be Tony. My That Chick award, I want to say Elvira, but it's not gonna be Elvira. I'm gonna have to give it to what's Tony's? Oh, Gina. Now I'm giving it to Gina because unfortunately, Gina fell from her own lifestyle choices. Like I said earlier, Gina is 100% promiscuous. She's only 20. Well, she was only 20, but she couldn't stay away, right? And then by the time her and Manny got their thing going, you can genuinely tell there is a actual spark there. Not like Manny just trying to look for a new chick to fuck, but or she's looking for a new dude to fuck, but it's a genuine spark. And I think that main cause of that spark is Tony, knowing that Tony would be the one that would either break them up or, as we now know, shoot Manny and get Gina killed.
Yeah, tomato.
But we also know that the only reason why they are even in the same car together because of that common thing, which is Tony. You got Tony's best friend, you got Tony's sister, and then now they're something. And so by the time her death comes, you see what Tony was saying when I don't want you in here. And her not listening, her not heeding to that warning got her killed. Even though, there's, like I said, there could be genuine love between Manny and Gina. But in this business, if your brother, who's one of the head honchos and pushing weight, if he tells you to get the fuck out of here, you should really get the fuck out of here. My This Fool award, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to the to Dirty Bernie, Bernstein the cop, and the reason why is because one of y'all already took Frank, but Dirty Bernie, I love how he comes in like his shit don't stink. He's talking real suave, and he's basically the first time we see him, he's coming into the club and he's letting Tony know this is gonna happen, and you gotta run with this or we lock you up. And I'm like, okay. It didn't take long for us to see Dirty Bernie again, and Tony put 3 bullets in his ass. So for me, all that. You know what? Also, when he mentions the first class tickets, plane tickets, I'm like, you know what? I can't wait for you to fucking die.
When you die, it's gonna be a great time.
When you die, I'm gonna celebrate that part seriously, and then I get 2 for 1. I get you and Frank in the same scene. Oh yeah, let's do that.
Glorious. I'm
good for that. So yeah, Dirty Bernie, fuck off. I'm with you guys. Cut that out. I have nothing to cut. This movie flows so well. It flows to the point to where it's seamless. It's 2 hours and 50 minutes long, but it feels like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
because it flows and it goes. And for people who've seen it 100, 200, 300 times, it just flows. It flows so well. And for me, the iconic scene, which I was gonna say is the Ball's My Word, then I was also gonna say it was the World Chico and everything scene, but I'm gonna do the Tony's demise scene, and the reason why is because the very first time I had seen Scarface, I didn't even see the movie. I think my uncle had it, and I put it and we were at his house, and we're looking for the remote to turn on the TV, but he still had the tape playing, in the VCR, so we turned the TV on. It's literally at the scene when Tony's standing up there and he's talking shit as the dude's walking behind him, and then he gets shot. And I remember being like, what is this? It was definitely a movie that I probably shouldn't be watching at the time, but I was like, what is it? Like, the very first time I seen Scarface, it was the very ending. And I remember watching it later on in life, maybe a couple years later, and finally, sitting down and watching the whole movie. I was like, the way that this movie flows with the plot points and the vibe of it all, the movie flows because it's literally building up to that iconic last scene. And I've always felt that way about this movie. Quick hits. When Scarface was re-released in theaters in 2003, the studio wanted Brian De Palma to change the soundtrack so that rap songs inspired by the movie could be used. De Palma refused.
Yeah, because I remember they wanted to actually change the scoring of the movie with those rap songs. That would have been weird. That would have been kind of stupid.
It'd been off. And like we said, Scarface has those...
Even though that montage of the Push It to the Limit montage probably would have been dope with Money, Power, Respect behind it. I would have enjoyed that.
Or even Rick Ross Push It.
Nah. Money, Power, Respect.
Okay, well, whatever. Oliver Stone wrote this film while fighting a cocaine addiction.
Oh, so you knew all about it. They turned to him for everything.
I'm sure during the whole scene with Mount Cocaine, he was like,
I was so high. You know, what was that American Dad? Get down, get down.
Robert De Niro was offered the lead role but turned it down.
Ooh, thank God.
We always get Pacino and De Niro battling out for the same fucking roles. You notice that?
They're kind of the same guy.
You know, I always used to get them mixed up. The first movie I saw them together was Heat.
Yep.
And when I was younger, I was like, man, how does he play both roles? Like, I always thought they was the same person.
How did he do that? Only Eddie Murphy could pull that off. All right.
The word yayo is used by Tony Montana as a slang word for cocaine. This word was not in the script and was ad-libbed by Al Pacino during the first drug deal scene, the chainsaw scene, and Brian De Palma liked it enough to keep using it throughout the film. Pacino learned the word while using the Cuban accent. Now, yayo is now worldwide known as cocaine.
Right.
That's crazy.
The cocaine used throughout the shooting of the film was supposed to be dried milk, but that couldn't be used because it didn't fit well when the scene was shot. Director Brian De Palma refuses to admit what substance was ultimately used for cocaine out of fear that it would destroy the illusion of realism. So it's either...
Well, I mean, what could they have used? Baking powder, baking soda, flour, like all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't even gonna lie. Thinking back, this is 84, right?
83,
I'm sorry. It probably was coke.
It probably was. If you ain't want to tell nobody.
I only say that because think about nowadays when they do it, they're sniffing. I forgot what it's called, but it's water basically. So when it hits your nose, it instantly evaporates into water.
Right.
Pretty sure they didn't have that back in '83.
I feel like he used flour for the wide shots, but the scenes where he's dipping,
doing the
that's
coke,
cocaine. He's doing.
That's coke. We watched Al Pacino do coke.
Steven Spielberg operated one of the cameras in the final scene because he happened to be on the set the day the scene was filmed. So one of the cameramen of that iconic scene is fucking Steven Spielberg.
You know what scene it probably was?
That's crazy.
The scene where it's probably levitating over. You know, that's Steven Spielberg's thing. He likes floating over you.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you it was that scene.
Definitely.
Hey, but imagine how dope you got to be that a cameraman was like, hey, you want to do it? I mean, shit.
Yeah,
I ain't
no
doing
credit,
nothing.
no nothing. It's all good.
Hey, but it also think about it. What was Steven Spielberg doing there?
He probably was in town just chilling.
Doing coke with everybody else.
Him and Albert
Right,
Stone
he
are
was
cool.
doing coke.
Him and Brian De Palma were cool. De Palma was like, yo, I'm shooting Scarface, pull up.
He hit that line and was like, hey, my nigga, what if an alien just came down and got cool with a white boy and Drew Barrymore?
Like, dude, can I shoot this particular part? But I just want to touch this part right here.
Please.
Gina Montana, played by Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, I fucked her name up,
Pretty sure.
actually makes her first appearance during the beach scene. At around 44 minutes, Manny Ribera is seen observing a woman from behind. That woman is Gina Montana. Director Brian De Palma states that the appearance is supposed to be the first indication of Gina's promiscuity.
So is this the scene when he's supposed to be looking out?
And he calls out
He's
to some
actually
chick,
talking.
and the chick gives him no play. That chick is Gina.
That's crazy.
So she was meant to be a thought in this movie.
Coño. Yep.
He said, come on.
Although Tony Montana is supposed to be Cuban, making his first language Spanish, he only speaks one line of Spanish during the entire movie.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even when he killed Rebenga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ranked number 10 on the AFI's list of the 10 greatest films in the genre, Gangster. Scarface, the 1932 version starring Paul Mooney, was ranked number 6 in June of 2008.
Again, it was a good movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see if I can find it. Like, I want to see the original Scarface.
Yeah,
and then watch this Scarface to see how it compares. Like, I know you guys was talking about it earlier, but like, I need to see.
Yeah, something you got to experience, definitely.
Yeah.
And final quick hit, there was a huge controversy in the city of Miami during the making of the film over whether the producers should be allowed to shoot in the city. The Miami Tourist Board decided not to allow filming as they were afraid the movie would discourage tourism to Miami, particularly as it showed Miami's latest Cuban immigrants as gangsters and drug dealers.
So they talking about the Cubans being immigrants, but really Miami was made off of cocaine money anyway.
I'm about to say, like, that's how they made the city.
But no, who the judge?
It's like Vegas being mad at the mafia. Like, hey, y'all need to chill.
Like, y'all just made this shit. Well, that is it. It's been a long episode, but damn it, we got through it. The first Listener's Choice episode voted on by you, the listener, and we just knocked out Scarface. Like we said, jump on the Back to the Classic Movie Talk group. You can on Facebook. We have our new poll up. Vote your favorite Wesley Snipes movie, because in 2017, not too many people talk about my man Wesley, and that's one of the guys who used to reign supreme in the 90s.
Except for the tax company.
You know, if you just paid them, whatever. But Los, we thank you so much for jumping on the show. Shout out to both my cousins, Sierra and Sade Sears, all the way here from Cleveland, Ohio.
Shout out to all the graduates,
all the graduates out there. You know, congratulations to all you guys, man. Your future's bright. Keep pushing to the limit.
Don't deal coke in Miami.
There's obviously there's an expiration date on it. And shout out to Hollywood Kev, who couldn't make it with us here today. We'll find something to get you on, man. Something. And overall, shout out to Big Los of the Noize, the Beat Boss Los. Let people know where they can find you, bro.
At Big Los UTC. You can also find me on Facebook. And that Big Los UTC one is Twitter. I've been a lot more active on Twitter. I'm proud of myself for that. Y'all can follow me on Snap. If you go to the website, beatnetworkonline.com, you can actually get my Snap in the profile and the About Us, basically. You actually get everybody's Snap from there. Yeah, man. Catch me. Might as well plug next week's show. So this Sunday, we have actor Mac Wells coming on the show.
What? You got Mac Wells?
Mac Weezy. He coming on the show. Another Wilberforce grad. Yo, Wilberforce, we produce stars. There's no other way to put it. I'm sorry. But he's going to be on the show to tell us a bit about his story. His most recent project that he was on was something small, something slight. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Y'all heard of it?
It's something small.
Something slight. But yeah, we got
something lightweight.
But we got Mac Wells coming on the Noize, so make sure y'all tune in for that Sunday.
Hey man, shout out to Mac Wells. We got him coming up soon too. I think.
We got him coming up.
We're gonna have to hit him up
in a few weeks. K Williams, let the good people know where they can find you, bro.
Hey man, look. Okay, so I tried the whole getting back into social media. I fucking suck at doing this social media shit. Holla at me on Facebook, man. K-A-Y Williams, all right?
Hey, next episode
where I be at.
Listen, you got my number, call
me, man. Say next episode, hey, man, just text me. That's right, just text me. I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Hit me up. I'll holla at you. What's good?
Well, and you can find me on all the social media simply at I am Jay Alonzo. That's Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. You talk to me and I'll talk back. Shout out to the entire B family, the lovely ladies over at our newest show, Pillow Talk. And of course,
this Saturday, yes.
This Saturday. And of course, we have Truth and Lex holding it down for Like Water for Chocolate. Shout out to the whole Beat Network team.
Lex will be popping soon and she will be back.
Looking forward to it.
Hey, man, shout out to your cousin for graduating in criminology, man. And little cuz that's over there. You know what I'm saying?
That
don't know Scarface.
I just don't get it at all. But that's it, you guys.
Shout out to my cuz, Gabriel Grant, man. He just graduated this weekend as well, man.
Congrats, black man.
Big shout out to your cousin. Yeah, so thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Congrats to the 2017 class. Y'all doing it big.
Big shout out to the class of 2017. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. We know it was a long one, but damn it, we got through it. And on behalf of Back to the Classics, I am your guy, Jay Alonzo, and with me is my guy,
K Williams, man. Holla at y'all.
We'll holla at y'all next week. Peace.